Digital Embellishment Show, where your print comes alive, watch your colors explode. From a spark on the screen to the wow on the floor. We add a little.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Digital Embellishment Show. I am here with Sean Roberts, who actually has become a good friend of mine over the past year and a half that we've been working together. And Sean is the embellishment guru and really the person kind of leading up the embellishment charge at Konica Minolta USA. Sean, buddy, how are you doing, man?
Hey man, that's great. Can't believe, you call me the embellishment guru. It's funny. I had my first video interview with you on the Digital Embellishment Alliance when I started here at Konica Minolta. So I guess some old habits are hard to break there, buddy, but it's great to be on the show today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was time we circled back around and kind of caught up with you, if that makes sense. I mean, you've been up to so much. You've been traveling a lot. You've been doing a lot of positive work in the world of the digital embellishment. For that, we're so thankful that you were kind of really helping push into the market.
Yeah, well, we've had some huge market movement too over the past year and a half or so, and it's been a great, it's been an awesome journey to help see how things have really changed. When I came on board in 2024, right, it was just post Drupa 2024. There was a lot of big buzz around digital embellishments over at Drupa, and boy, between Amplify last year, Printing United last year, other shows, Label, it just seems to be one of the top more mainstream activities that everyone's drawing buzz about. So it's definitely kept me busy, kept me out in the field, a lot of cool applications, a lot of great conversations, and really, awesome people to get the chance to work with.
Yeah, and it's great. And we just got some numbers from NAPCO saying that the digital embellishment market is growing at a CAGR of 6 to 8% per year. Which, when you think about it, there's not much in the printing industry that's growing, especially at that rate. What do you think about those numbers? Are you kind of feeling that too in the field? Like, what's your feedback on that?
Yeah. Look, it's been extremely busy. I think to add, a little bit of insight to some additional, Printing Alliance Insights data, they showed that for economic outlook for 2026 was that over half of commercial printers were looking to put their investments into advanced bindery and finishing applications. And I think the reason why is because it drives higher value. Unlike a lot of the upstream printing technologies that tend to be a little bit more commodity driven, embellishments is one of those areas that, because of the neuroscience behind the tactile connectivity and the resonance and consumer engagement, people are really starting to understand now, wow, this is an area that brands are willing to accept premiums because of the ability to really resonate with their consumer base in a print tactile manner. So anyway, all that being said, we're just seeing just a great, it's been a very busy year. We've had to change a lot of things actually in our company as well, because again, with maybe if you flash back 3 or 5 years ago, there were some pioneers or innovators that were adopting digital embellishment technologies to help differentiate themselves, do the really short run, highly iterative work, and add some amazing pizzazz over the print. But today, they're still continuing to push the envelope and pioneer, but because it's become larger, right, with more market saturation, we've had to obviously scale and grow and help support different programs and ensure that we have kind of a map to roadmap success, right, at post installation, ensure that we can help map these out. And some of the again, even throughout the course of last year, we put out in partnership with you guys some of the how to make your prints pop by 101 guide to step-by-step adopt a digital embellishment technology. There's some really important steps to ensuring that you have the change leadership in your organization to make that work and make it successful. Again, stuff that probably 5 years ago, you had to kind of do on your own. And today, we're realizing that a lot of this is a little bit more standardized, a little bit more streamlined, and you can, follow the steps to success there. So again, a lot of really good activity that we've had just to ensure the success of our customer base.
So I've seen you guys making a lot of moves. One particular area of interest for me that I'm really seeing you guys push hard now is the label side of things. And when you think Konica Minolta, historically, you think of cut sheet presses, you think of KM1, you think of all the traditional curio presses. Yeah, even the biz hubs back in the day, those things were beasts. Now you guys are really doing also a very concentrated push into labels tell me, like, first off, why and what are you kind of seeing in that part of the market?
Well, it's interesting because you said something a second ago, and you're not wrong, which is that people often think of Konica Minolta on the cut sheet toner engines, or, A3 print production engines, which we've done very well in. But our Curio label product has over 1,500 installations worldwide, right? So we have multitude
Really?
of units. Yeah, 1,000 over 1,500
Awesome.
systems installed for 13-inch narrow web label, and we sit in a very unique position there because of the type of technology that's in our systems. Makes it very easy to use, very easy to adopt, and it complements quite successfully some of the uh, large volume label presses or inkjet systems or flexo systems. And so we're not new in that market space. But again, you're not wrong. Most people don't think of us when they're thinking about label, think about Konica Minolta. So I think that's why, we have a renewed interest in, not even renewed interest, but continued interest in ensuring that, we drive more market permanence in the label category. Plus, when you think about the fact that with what's near and dear to my heart, right? Maybe yours too, which is embellishment. The fact that we're one of the only, in fact, we think we are the only OEM out there that has both cut sheet embellishment and roll-to-roll label embellishment in partnership with the MGI products. So it really kind of is a nice synergy between what we do on cut sheet side, whether inkjet, whether toner, and what we can do on the label side. So it's been great to become involved in that as well, because again, when I started at the company, my purview was wholly embellishments, and today it's kind of spreading more into label and some of our inkjet products too. So it's really
And
exciting.
actually, I'm hearing good things. I'm hearing you guys are actually having quite a bit of success now as you launch the new Web 400. There's
Yeah. So we're
installations
yeah,
going.
yes, we're doing an installation as we speak right now, and on the West Coast, and you'll see more about that in the press release as soon as installation is wrapped up. That's pretty amazing, because that's actually the third or fourth generation of our web press for embellishment system. We got a couple dozen of those installed worldwide, and so it's exciting to just continue that innovation, that lineage, because that stuff just never stops in terms of the R&D development.
So a lot of the people watching this, like, guys, if you're doing commercial printing, you're looking to get into more or less like a bulletproof market. And when I say bulletproof, hear me out here. A lot of the stuff that we do in commercial print is linked directly to marketing budgets. That's not a secret. And so if the economy goes well, marketing budgets get money, they can spend, they could create really cool looking things. Economy doesn't do so well. The first budgets they tend to cut is marketing. Just remember, when it comes to labels, when it comes to packaging, guys, these are different budgetary items. These come out of the production budget, not the marketing budget. A lot of you guys I know are thinking about getting into labels. A really, really, I think a good move for you guys to make from a strategy standpoint to make sure you hedge your bets against who knows what the economy in 2026 is going to look like. This could be a great hedge for that.
Yeah, well, and it delivers more share of wallet, offering the control and the lead time to market than having something in house, right? So, I can completely appreciate. Look, I've been on both sides of that fence in my life, right? Had the opportunity to run production centers, had the opportunity to build, be part of the OEMs in a lot of different spaces, and it's still, I can understand there's a risk there, right? Of any commercial printer, somebody that's looking to, maybe you're outsourcing a little bit of label work today, or you're turning it away entirely to say, what can I do to potentially bring that in house. But it allows you to differentiate from those down the block. It allows you to turn in a very quick manner. And with the label systems, they don't, these with our label systems, the way that they fit and the speeds that they run at and how consistent they are, day over day, month over month, you'd be surprised. It's not the typical press implementation story where you're trying to feed that beast for 40, 50, 60 hours a week. They become very profitable, especially when we talk about embellishment or finishing systems. Most people have the misconception that, like a printing press, oh my goodness, they have to run on every single job 100% of the time. And I'll tell you, and you probably know this, well, you've been doing this a long time, Kevin, that you don't have to do that. In fact, when we talk to people that are interested in embellishment, the last thing I would ever say is you're gonna do all your work embellished. You don't even need that, and it's sort of a misconception, like that you would think that you're gonna do every single thing embellished. No, it adds value and adds differentiation, and 10%, 15%, 20% of your work that runs through the machine its productivity level might be at, you don't need to run it every single day, and it's making a very positive ROI because of the fact that, there's margin there.
So, Sean, real quick question. Here's my business card.
Yeah.
It's got foil and a little bit of varnish on the front, and this was done by our friends at Big Dogs. It's got varnish, 3D varnish in the back. Do you guys know how much I would pay for this card today? $1 to $1.15 is the going rate.
Yeah.
And I need everybody here just for a second. $1.15 per business card that's embellished, two-sided. And let's say there's 21 up on a 13 by 19. You're looking at, guys, you're looking at $20 to $25 a sheet in revenue.
Right. I
And
know.
so when you're saying, okay, here's my monthly payment, how many sheets do I really need to run? I think a lot of people, to your point, think that they have to run massive, massive, massive amounts of work. They don't understand the value here is it's great to have massive amounts of work, but it's even greater to have massive amount of profits where you don't necessarily need the volumes to maybe make that financially make sense.
No, you're absolutely spot on. And business cards continues to be, like, I think, obviously one of the top applications when we talk about embellishment, because you're handing something tangible in a relationship manner. You're already handing this piece to them, and so you're trying to stand apart from all the other business cards they may have, or you want something that they're going to see and they're going to touch. Because the longer that you see, the longer you keep that in your hand, right, the more permanence there is, right? That's kind of the science behind it. And so business cards continue to be one of those top applications, but we're actually seeing, a huge growth. This is sort of like a resurgence, if you will, in embellishments with direct mail,
We're
and not
seeing
only just like doing a little bit of spot UV on one treatment here, but there's one of our customers in Lansing, Michigan, that's doing some amazing work. Spot UV over spot UV with variable foil. I mean, really, really nice, complicated, very, very targeted campaigns. If you're a big direct mail house, you're aware of the USPS, even like the TSI discounts that can save compounded percentages in terms of the postage rates, because it's tactile or it's sensory or it's interactive. There's a big push there to see direct mail. So I think you're going to see, when the trends come back, for first half of this year, we start to look at really the main growth applications for embellishment. I think you're going to see direct mail really start to push larger, and a little of that's driven too by the kind of the generational changes, right? I mean, the my kids and that age group is just so overwhelmed with digital medium, so overwhelmed with emails, websites, that they want something that resonates with them, that is tactile, right? And so they're actually, the statistics will show by Lob or others, the seat of the mailing industries out there will show that there's that's what that consumer generation wants. They want pieces of direct mail that are targeted to them, right? Because they don't want to just be a number. They want to have personal value.
So I think what you're saying is really, really, first off, let me just mention that what you're saying actually reflects what they think tactile study, the digital embellishment study of 2025. 2023, it wasn't even on the top 5 direct mail in terms of
Yeah.
most popular applications. In 2025, it went from non-existent to top 3. Is in the third most used application. So we're going to be running the digital embellishment study, the 26 one here. We're going to be launching that next month. Uh, Interesting to see
Right.
where that will land this year in terms of top applications.
Yeah, well, you'll certainly have more respondents, that's for sure. Because again, continue to see more digital embellishment, adoption. And I think that direct mail is definitely going to be one of those ones that you're going to continue to see sort of a little bit more surge there. I mean, and I think what's just add a little bit more emphasis in terms of for embellishment, direct mail in general, I think you're going to find is making a little bit of a resurgence. We're seeing more of that today, but like anything else, differentiation, right? You want to stand apart. When I go to the mailbox every day and I start flipping through the letters or flipping through the stuff that comes through, there's one particular, financial lender that's always trying to get me to, hey, you're pre-qualified for this, and they put some really unique things in there. I won't say who it is, but they put some really unique little foil touches and spot UV touches. It's the first thing I gravitate towards. I open it every time, so I'm like, oh, this looks important. So that's where the subtle bits of digital embellishment make that piece just, again, more resonant, more tangible.
So you're not going to believe this. So it was my kid's 5th birthday last week, and we go to all these birthdays, right? He goes to preschool and we get all these emails. Hey, join us here for Johnny's birthday, and they're always email invitations. And so I went on. He's into Power Rangers right now, so we did like some AI and put him in like a green Power Ranger suit, Power Rangers in the background. Uh, Created it, had it printed, and we actually gave these as personal invitations. And
That's
what
awesome.
really blew us away was number one, every parent, like the number of people who came to the birthday was much higher than what they typically come out. So the turnout was like much higher than what we've been seeing. And number two, the thing that really I think caught me off guard is everybody kept telling me, "Hey, we've been looking at your kid for the past month. He's been on a refrigerator. Uh, we look at him. We've been, now they're into Power Rangers, and it's just like this whole new generation has kind of forgotten the power that print can really bring. And when it comes to direct mail or invitations and things like that, like we forget like there's a permanence that comes with putting something on paper and putting in the mail, and there's that permanence really comes through. So
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, no, I mean for sure. Look, when there's thousands, hundreds of thousands, probably more than that, of short tweets, and Instagram posts, and LinkedIn posts, and Facebook posts, and all this stuff that's gone social and viral, and it is an important place for it, sure. But there's a lot of noise in that environment today. So when you have, I think, when you have something that creates a little bit more of an emotional connection because you don't have that distance to the little, phone we all carry in our pockets, you get something that is tangible, that is print. Many people around the end of the year, have holiday cards or New Year's cards, or start off the New Year celebrate, the Happy New Year cards, things like that. But it's usually one of the only times that you have a lot of mailing that goes out. I think you'll find that when we do things in a more traditional manner, especially with the new generation, that it has some degree of nostalgia to it. It has an emotional connection to it, and really that creates, like I said, more positive influence on your recipient for sure.
Hey, settle an argument for me real quick, because I've been having this argument with a couple of people where I believe that now even we know print embellishment is a very high, like the highest value possible when it comes to print, but I almost feel like print itself is now no longer really being seen as a commodity. Like people who decide to get something printed instead of sending an email or evite, like they're doubling down. They're saying, "I'm gonna pay money for this because I feel that there's more value in this." Do you feel like print itself is kind of resurging out of this commodity label and being seen as a high value marketing tool? Or what's your gut feeling on the whole thing?
Absolutely. Well, I put it this way, like with obviously we're an OEM of equipment manufacturing, right? You can go to our website and you can download all sorts of cool content and case studies and brochures and blog posts and things like that, and you can have a PDF. I could email you right today. You'd have that PDF in your inbox. What are the chances you would read that entire PDF versus if I was at your location and I shook your hand, gave you my business card, and handed to you that same 8.5 11 piece of content? Yes, of course, it would be embellished because that's what we do, right? We have a little spot UV treatment on it or foil, whatever. That piece that we would physically hand to you, I guarantee you 100% would have a stronger readership than a PDF that just gets buried in an inbox, right? You're getting hundreds and hundreds of emails every single day. We don't have that level of noise because there was, if you, again, at a very broad macro level, you go back a decade, there was this, um, stability push really that okay, now all of a sudden I don't have to print anymore because it's all available on the web. Just direct me to the website and I can find what I want. Yeah, that takes a consumer time. That takes a consumer like the sort through. Even if you email it to me, it gets buried in an inbox. Just doesn't have that differentiation. Doesn't have that degree of permanence. So hard copy printed pieces, 8.5 11 brochures, flyers, business cards, postcards. Yeah, I think there's still a really, really permanent place for print across all mediums.
Well, look at the resurgence in books. And books is one of the top embellished applications, but we're seeing books like
Yeah.
blowing up right now. So I absolutely
Yeah.
believe what you're saying.
Yeah, but right, but it's an interesting, another huge application for us. We see, trade finishers, book publishers, and short run POD book finishing for jackets that have some spot UV and some foil treatment on them. Obviously we talked about business cards and standard commercial printers being some of the like fastest growing segments that are looking at embellishment technology.
something fun too that's come out is that, we work very closely with Mr. Matt Redbear. He's
Yeah.
he's one of our SMEs and a big partner of ours, both metaphorically and physically. And Matt works at Elite Print Finishing, and on a recent like digital embellishment show, we had a whole conversation like, what is the size of the runs that we should be looking at for packaging? Because he does a lot of packaging.
Hmm.
And he was telling me like some of the runs that he's getting to run digitally are like 100,000 pieces, 100,000 sheets in my mind. And I called him. I go, why would people run that 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 type of a job digitally? And you know what he answered us? He goes, some brands are preferring the aesthetic of digital embellishments over, for example, more of a traditional embellishments. They feel that it reflects the lights differently, that it gets more attention on the shelf. And some of
Yeah.
these brands don't care about paying more. They've done the math, they've done the studies, and it's shown that that digital aesthetic, that shininess, that gloss level that you're able to get, that you can't really replicate the same look. Let's be honest, like a digital foil will always look a little bit brighter, a little bit glossier than a non-digital foil. And that was like a big shock to me that now I understand that there's a whole market for long runs on digital embellishments, uh, purely for aesthetic reasons.
Yeah, I mean, look, it makes sense, right? When you think about digital embellishment has the ability, I don't want to get too deep in the physics on it, but you can jet, over 100 microns of varnish at one point, right? So you can get a nice thick tactile feel. You talked a little bit about the foil. A traditional foil stamp that tends to be a little bit of a flatter or even have, embossment effect. When you're talking about the tactile effect of a foil that has this 2D, 3D look to it, 2D, 3D feel to it. Yeah, it is a different type of finish. And it's not to say that you can't have the two blended together. We have plenty of customers that have digital embellishment and conventional embellishments, and depending upon the break even, they can run both. But there is certainly that customer preference, I think, and we're going to find too, out of that. I don't know the details around, Matt Redbear's comment around 100,000, but what we're seeing is, yes, sometimes the run is 100,000, but it could be in 10 different variations of shorter run. So they want to do more iterative or more, let me say it's
Versioning.
limited edition, but versioning, right? Or geographical region influence. So that it's a little bit different in that 100,000 run, which is, again, what digital is perfect for.
Yeah. Just to top it off, I know that you just came back from France and you must have seen some of the cool stuff that's being worked on. Is there anything you could tell us? Any cool stuff that you're working on? Is there any sneak previews? Anything that you can share? Because I know that they probably showed you some stuff that you probably can't talk about.
Well, yeah. Well, remember let's be clear. The topic of my trip to France was to work with one of our partners out there, one of our potential prospects that was interested in some of our equipment that was really deep into the R&D of what we can do with embellishment. So yes, it was a great trip. I had a visit to a few customer sites. Had opportunity to go to our MGI factory headquarters, our Konica Minolta applications headquarters, and so a lot of activity really jam packed in there. What I can tell you, what I'm able to tell you is absolutely. There's a back room, if you will, or actually it's a front room, if you will, of Konica Minolta and MGI that are working on some really, really amazing innovations that could be coming up this year. Can't say too much stuff, but I think at high level, what I would say is we're looking to leverage technologies cross-platform to kind of scale them and grow them that give great run rates and great entry points for all types of customers. Whether you need high throughput, whether you need entry level product, whether you need new application development and ways that you can take embellishment that didn't even exist on the market a few years ago. So some really cool stuff. We continue to obviously reinvest in R&D and make sure that, MGI was, born on innovation, right? And we never want to give that up.
All right, really cool. And last little question, like you got to spend a week in Europe with, some of the experts in embellishments. Are you seeing anything different that the Europeans are doing in the embellishment world and the applications that seem to be kind of raising to the top? Anything to kind of inform the US audience here watching the show, what might be happening on that European front, or is it very similar to what we're doing here?
Well, so I think you see in a wider variety of verticals. I mean, still there's obviously standard applications like we would have over here in the U.S., but Europe tends to be what I saw anyway out of our application showroom in outside Paris, France. A lot of kind of not check out over here. It's like non-standard applications, like bags that are being created that are all embellished, and so various pieces having to do with foils and security foils. Obviously, we have a line of security foils, ensuring that what you put down on that is not counterfeit. That it can be read with an audible reader. It's very unique. So really pushing outside the boundaries of sort of the standard commercial printing applications, but that stuff still exists for sure. But looking at what other products out there in the consumer world would make sense for us to apply some level of a foil, of a spot UV, of a tactile enhancement, and then really, they test it, they try it. Some things work, some things don't work, but those are some of the really cool ones I saw coming out of.
That's the funnest part of the job, man, is
Yep,
creating new stuff that hasn't been done before.
that's right.
Sean, listen, thank you so much for your time and your insights. I know that you're going to be at a couple different events this year where people can come
Yeah.
see you. Is there any particular events that you want to shout out that people could come see what you guys are up to?
Yeah, so look, I think, obviously Konica Minolta, because of our industrial print group in both inkjet, label, and embellishment, will be at Inkjet Summit coming up this year. More closer to home for me, I will be participating with the, FSCA's conference down there in Nashville in June. And then, a couple little things between now and then. And the big one for us, obviously, is Printing United. We're really looking forward to having a huge show there. You guys did an amazing job, I think. And the feedback I heard, not just from our internal teams, but from the marketplace, kind of the print community at large, was that Tactile did some really cool stuff with your embellishment tours that really hadn't been done like that in the past, and so excited to see what you guys are cooking up in front of that show as well. Can't wait. I know with the Spotify albums we've been putting out, I don't know what's going to be next. You're going to have to put out some music videos.
That is an idea right there, my friend.
That's right,
Sean,
Banana.
Banana, that's my favorite. Sean, listen, thanks again for the time. Keep up the great work. If anybody has any questions, I highly recommend you follow Sean on LinkedIn. He's always sharing really good information. He's sharing really good articles. Definitely a thought leader in the space. So, Sean, thanks for everything you're doing for the industry, and thanks for your time that you spent today with us on the Embellishment Show.
Awesome, Kevin. Likewise, it's always a pleasure.
All right, buddy. See you
Welcome
soon.
to the Digital Embellishment Show, where your print comes alive, watch your colors explode. From a spark on the screen to the wow on the floor, we add that little whoa that keeps them coming back for more.